In Russia, we don't have the licensing at all. So that's maybe a shock, but I think for many countries. But in Russia, no licensing regulation. So basically, everyone can be a consular and no regulation.
И этим очень, конечно, отличается от того, что происходит здесь.
That is so different from what we see in here.
And when I think about in the U.S., the licensure as a psychologist or social worker or marriage and family therapist, a lot of it is to do with the sort of ethical regulations to ensure that sort of each one has a code of ethics. And with primarily three things. We have about confidentiality, we have exploitation, to protect people from exploitation, and from some kind of multiple relationships to make sure that there's a paying attention to that therapeutic relationship is kept to be private and sort of sacrosanct. That it's so these idea of this code of ethics came from a place of wanting to protect people. And I think when narrative practice came in, one of the things that I love about it is yes, we practice ethically, and we think about additional ethics of care, ethics of the ways we want to be with people, the ways we position ourselves, that sort of thing. So I wonder both those ethics for you, what guides your work if it's not from a professional regulations, and any distinctions you might draw.
Probably narrative therapy was the first approach that where ethics was at the same time a tool. And to my mind, narrative therapy is not very instrumental. I mean, the technology is not the first thing there. First, the most important thing is ethics. Yeah, that we hold the principles of work, and if we stick to these principles, to the ethics, we can already help people. We can do it better if we apply this ethics more, like, I don't know, if we find the more clever or smart way to do it. But the ethics itself, the practice of the ethical position itself, has the impact in the results of therapy. So basically, for me, the answer is if I'm into narrative practice, I should be ethical. I should follow some ethics, and at the same time, that's the ethics in narrative approach. To my mind, is not a set of rules. It's a set of questions that I have to ask myself in each situation, because context is very different each time with each person. And yeah, it's a tricky thing. I mean, it's not easy. It might be difficult because if you have set of rules, set of regulations, it's more easy. You just know what to do, what not to do, I suppose. But it was neglect, or it doesn't show the differences. It moves away,
Obscures.
obscure, yeah, the differences.